Where are mortgage rates headed in 2023? And where are home values going in 2023? And also, when is a good time for you to get back in the market, especially if you decided to wait it out until 2023? So, I want you to say first that you can pretty much rest in peace any 2%, 3%, and 4%. Nobody is forecasting those interest rates for 2023. So if you're thinking, I'm going to get a 2% rate, I'm going to get a 3% rate, not a fixed rate, like a 30-year fixed rate, it's probably not going to be in the twos, probably not going to be in the threes, probably not going to be in the fours. At the time that I'm filming this video in mid-December, rates are in the low sixes, okay? So let's put that aside, and we're going to try to be realistic as to what the mortgage outlook and the housing outlook housing outlook will be in 2023. I'm Shaheedah Hill, getting you over the hill to home ownership and helping you confidently buy your first home. So let's talk about the different agencies and what they're predicting for 2023. First, we'll start with Freddie Mac. Freddie Mac is predicting mortgage rates anywhere between a 6.2 to a 6.6. That's what they're forecasting for 2023, that range. And the lower end of the range, they're predicting that for later in the year, like third quarter, fourth quarter. So like August, September, that kind of time, that it'll be in the low. And that's Freddie Mac. So pretty much where we are right now. Freddie Mac is saying we're going to stay within that range. Zillow is predicting 6.5 to 7.5. Redfin, that's pretty high. Redfin is predicting just below 6%, so probably high fives. The Mortgage Bankers Association is predicting a 5.4. Okay, so basically on the lower end of that spectrum, we're looking in 5.4. That's the lowest that I've seen. And then the highest that I've seen is 7.5. So you have to know if this is going to be what they're forecasting, when would you get back in the market? Are you a buyer at 5.5? Are you a buyer at 5 and 7, 5.25? When are you a buyer if these predictions or these forecasts hold true? Okay, so you have to start thinking about that now, because more than likely on the very positive end, it'll be in the fives. In the okay end, they're saying it'll still be in the low sixes. Now, what is holding interest rates where they are? I've done this whole video on, how mortgage rates are how they're predicting these rates. And it has a lot to do with inflation right now. So the better we are with managing inflation, the lower interest rates will be. And so inflation numbers come out every month. The Federal Reserve doesn't meet every month. And so they're reacting to the inflation numbers, the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. So if they feel like inflation is under control, they'll probably back off of, raising interest rates. If they feel like inflation is not under control and they're trying to get inflation to 2%, like that's the goal, to get inflation to 2%. And right now it's about 7% or so. So if inflation does well, interest rates go down. If inflation doesn't go well and it maintains, it still is high, then you'll probably see higher interest rates because they're trying to raise prices to, reduce some of the demand. KPMG is predicting a 20% drop in home prices. So they predicted a 20% drop in home prices. And this could vary. This is like on average in the United States, but this could vary based on location. So some of those very overheated markets, Austin, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, they may have a more significant price drop than other areas that didn't get such a huge, fast rise in prices. Now, the National Association of Realtors is predicting that homes will go up in value 1.2%. Okay. And then the Mortgage Bankers Association is predicting a 0.7% increase in home prices. So it's not that everybody's saying home prices are going to go down. At the extreme, The highest that I've seen is 20% drop. And then at the other end of the spectrum, basically people are saying home prices are going to be flat, like they're not going to rise significantly, and they're not going to, have a huge decrease. So just know that. And some of my earlier videos, I was saying there's no rush because home prices should remain at this level, if not drop. So you get in when you feel like, as far as affordability, you can afford with that interest rate. So with inflation, low supplies, and the potential of a recession, a lot of buyers are having just a wait and see. So I would say for 2023, just make sure you have a strategy in place. Like, where your affordability is. Like, when are you able to afford a home? At what interest rate and at what price point are you able to afford a home? And I put affordability at less than 35% of your income, your take home pay. And I did this video explaining that 35%. So those numbers. So when you do find an opportunity, because sometimes you're going to have to ask for your price reduction, right? So there might be a seller that has a higher price, but they need to sell. The home's been on the market for a little while, and you have to come in a little bit lower. So, you make your price reduction, you ask for closing costs, you do those things that in a method or a strategy that still makes that home affordable for you. And if you're planning on living in that home for a long time, like, this is not the time to, I'm going to flip and live in a house for 2 years. But if you're planning on living in that house long term, you will be fine. So if there is like a market dip, it'll go back up later. When I bought my first house, it was in 2003. So 2003, I bought it for $140,000. And it went through the Great Recession. I sold it in 2006, but it went through the Great Recession in 2008, right? So it probably did go down in price during that time, but right now it's worth $300,000. So over time, your property and your home value will be fine, but you're going to have to, in this environment, you may have to go through some dips in your home value, but as long as you're thinking long term, you'll be okay. So I hope this was helpful. I'm going to put some of those links to the forecast below. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments. Please like and subscribe to my channel for new videos every week.